Hello, if you are interested in buying a property, you know the channel has already been producing videos about it to try to walk you through the process. I am here with Angel Mondragón.
Hey,
So he's an American from
New Mexico.
New Mexico. He's a subscriber to the channel for my happiness, and he has reached out to me because he wants to share his experience. We are in Sao Paulo right now, and he's looking for a property to buy, and he wants to tell his story. So don't go anywhere. After the intro, you're gonna learn everything about this nice fellow by my side. So we're back with Angel, and we are in a bar called Salve Jorge, across the street from Bovespa or B3. Right there you have the Santander building. So Angel, first of all, thanks for accepting to give me an interview and share your story with the people from the channel. I gotta tell you that Brad Zuka was the one who wanted to interview you, and
I was
said
hoping
no.
to talk with him, but unfortunately he was busy, I guess.
Angel is a special guy, so Brad, I'm sorry. You go next, I promise.
Yeah, next time. Hopefully.
He's a special guy. He's been contacting me for the past
3 months.
three months or
4
so.
months,
Man,
yeah.
first of all, guys, you who have been subscribing and helping us reach 1,000 subscribers, thank you so much. This is such a small channel, but
You know, if you click the like button, it changes colors.
yeah, try.
Yeah, try it. You should try it now.
Man, I never thought about it. Thanks so much. We say in Portuguese, o cara vestiu a camisa. Ó. He really, I don't know how to say that in English. No.
This guy is something.
Vestir a camisa is when you really
embrace.
Yes, great. He has embraced BU Store. So if you guys are interested, access the link here, BU Store, and get your t-shirt. He says my other country is a paradise, and he's going to exhibit this in the United States. But okay, let's go to what really matters. How is your stay in Sao Paulo, first of all?
So I've been here for about 3 weeks, and just to give some context, I was in Rio for about six months. So during the pandemic, I had decided to come to Latin America, and I was just planning on exploring various different countries. But because the pandemic occurred, a lot of the borders had closed down, unfortunately, which made me have to resulted in me staying in Rio for a lot longer than I had originally anticipated.
You said how long you stayed?
6 months.
6 months. You became a karaoke.
Yeah.
Learn how to dance the samba, right? What else?
I got super dark on the beach.
Wow, yeah, super tan. Let me tell you, did you visit all the tourist attractions of the city?
Yeah.
And everything?
Yep. It's funny because a lot of the people from Rio don't actually visit that. Telegrafo.
Ask Paulistas about Sao Paulo. We are in a very touristic area, guys. If you follow the channel, I might have made a few videos here, so not everybody knows.
To this place, yeah.
Not everybody knows.
Oh, ask her.
It's incredible.
Our girlfriend, she probably hasn't even been in this area.
This is another thing I want to say. Angel is dating a Brazilian girl. What is her name?
Tanise.
What is the name?
Tanise. It's a difficult one.
Tanise.
Yeah, it's very unique.
No, my wife is Italian.
Oh, okay, so that's perfect.
Yeah. We are in the same situation here. So how long have you been dating her?
Well, we've been talking for about 8 months, and we actually officially started dating about 2 months ago.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very good. So, but I believe the passion for Brazil didn't start with the relationship, right?
No.
So you're born and raised in the United States, right?
Born and raised in the United States, and then up until the last 5 years, I haven't even left the country besides Mexico and Canada, which were like about 2 weeks in total.
Which is very typical from America.
Yeah. So
Americans don't leave the States, right? Like
It'd be
not
hard
the
to-
United States. I mean the states where you were born.
Yeah. So I would say about a large majority of the Americans don't even have a passport, and like you were saying, a lot of Americans don't even leave their state, much less the city, for the most part.
So send a message to these guys. What is it like to be such a traveler like you?
I think
How have you grown as a person?
I think it's important for you to be immersed into different cultures because it helps you appreciate the things that you have in your country and your own culture. One thing, like those two juxtaposed against each other allows you to, like I said, really create some appreciation for things that you might normally have been blind to, essentially. So I like that. And then also it teaches you a lot of compassion because you're being immersed into a bunch of different cultures.
Because you guys, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah,
I just wanted to say that you guys have a privilege.
Yeah.
You're the richest country in the world. Like, I mean, there are differences, there are inequalities in the United States as anywhere else. But I mean, the basic there is much better than the basic here or many other countries.
Yeah, and not just from that perspective, but there's a lot of people who are pretty ignorant, especially in America, and
about other cultures.
Other cultures, you know, they might have other prejudices, you know, beliefs about certain cultures or certain things, and when you're immersed into a different culture, especially when you don't speak the language, you're really at their mercy. So when you're traveling and you're trying different foods, you're talking and trying to communicate, you really understand how difficult it is for migrant workers who are coming into, you know, your country, for example, in America, people who are coming into America trying to establish a life, something better. You really get some compassion for them because you understand what they're going through.
Allow me to say that, okay? We have just met, I mean, in person.
Yeah.
But you are a pretty open-minded guy, man.
I think that's part of traveling, yeah.
So how old are you?
I'm 25.
25. What was your background like in the United States?
So up until obviously high school was very normal. I did some sports in high school, and unfortunately there were some circumstances that occurred on my house life that led me to actually leave my house at a very young age. So I was on my own. I finished high school by myself, so I was financially independent. I didn't really have any support, even emotionally or anything like that. And I got into college, and from there, I started doing a lot of things in real estate initially. So just to give you guys some context, I started learning how to code. That was kind of my escapism, science and technology. I taught myself how to code around 12, 13 years old.
My goodness.
And from there...
It's not easy, right? Coding is not easy.
I don't know. They say riding bikes aren't easy.
I want to... I'm sorry to ask you questions about your background because there might be things that are difficult to talk about. But I was having a previous conversation with him and he said something interesting, like not only teaching himself how to code, but he has a vision for things. This is really cool. And you guys will understand, okay, I want to learn about the property process, yes. But by talking to him about this, you will understand how he ended up here.
Yeah, so everything has a purpose.
Why did you see, I mean, why did you choose computers? Did you see possibilities there? What was the point of teaching yourself how to code?
So, honestly, for me, science and technology,
anything, right?
Yeah. So science and technology, honestly, was just a vehicle of escapism for me, specifically. So, I didn't have the best childhood growing up, but for me, I took a liking to science and technology because when I was even younger, I just found it as a way to like make magic in real life. So chemistry, for example, was something that really enamored me because you can literally make potions and do really cool things, and it's basically like magic in real life. And then with a computer, I was able to do a lot of things that I just normally wouldn't have been able to do otherwise.
Wow.
So it was just really interesting. I taught myself how to build a video game at first, and then I found out it was a very great way for you to start making money by building websites. And then from there, I just kind of grew to
very early age.
Yeah, my
all
first
this vision from a very early age.
Oh, that wasn't even a vision. It was something that I was interested in. It wasn't necessarily a vision at that point.
But I think, okay, but at the end of the day, you chose things that would bring some bonus or benefits to your life.
Yeah, so
if you see it through this point of view.
There was a focal point in my life where it totally changed everything. So my paradigm of my thought process totally shifted completely. And that was as I was graduating high school and transitioning into college, just something critical in my life occurred, which totally shifted my paradigm of thought. And from there, that's when I started becoming a little bit more intentional about what I was going to do and then what was going to happen in the life moving forward. And that's where I started thinking about long-term visions and goals, because honestly, without that, I was just kind of going through life aimlessly. And even though I was doing well, I was making decent money as a computer software engineer.
No purpose.
I had no purpose, and I think purpose is really important. So passion and purpose are two things that really push me, drive me. So passion, obviously things that are a little bit more selfish, things that you take an interest in, and purpose, which is a reason why I have this tattoo.
What is that?
So this is Exodus 9:16.
Exodus 9:16. If you want to check the Bible.
And once again,
there.
I'm not a religious individual.
Yeah, we were talking
Christian.
about it.
I
but
do like
guys,
spirituality. I think there's a lot of benefit and utility within religion, specifically.
those
Christian.
are wise words, right? When you check the Bible, they are wise words.
Yeah, they really are.
Regardless your beliefs and stuff, right?
So, I mean, if you take it like an evolutionary psychological perspective on religion, it's really just over time, humans were observing patterns, and they turned those patterns into a narrative, and that narrative became a set of doctrines that we put into a Bible or the Quran that helped us navigate through life from a cultural perspective.
Okay.
So there's a lot of wisdom hidden in those, and I think this was great because purpose is important, because passion is serving yourself, purpose is serving others. I was unfortunately in a terrible point in my life that led me to be, without a home. I didn't have a lot of financial support, and a lot of things shifted after college. I started making a lot more money, and that's where purpose came into play, because I saw a lot of people who had money and they weren't necessarily happy with their life. A lot of millionaires that were in my circle that I was trying to get mentored by, and they had everything that I thought I wanted, and then I found out at the end of the day they were very miserable, they weren't happy, they didn't have good health metrics, and that's something that I was really trying to avoid as well in the future. So it's one thing to have money, but I want it to be satisfied. I want it to be fulfilled.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get to the point where you talk about the social charity and social work and everything. But let's fast forward to when the passion. Can I say that? The passion for Brazil started.
Yeah. So
because man, there are so many countries.
Yeah.
But why Brazil? Brazilians tend to ask this question too much for foreigners, because I think it's a sense of self-pity. I don't know. Like, why Brazil? Brazil's not that good. So they don't see the beauty in the country they live. And it's a shame to say that, but I used to be one of those guys.
Yeah.
I was pretty patriotic until the age of 16, and then I got sad with all the politics stuff, the circus that happens in Brasilia. But then the passion rekindled, and I think it's because of the channel. I started seeing my country through the eyes of the foreigner.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I was telling you about.
Yeah.
When you leave your country, you start appreciating the things that you're blinded to. So you're desensitized to it because you're living here.
Exactly.
And that's the thing.
So how did it start for you, man?
So like I said, 5 years ago, I wasn't traveling. I only went to Canada and Mexico. And then 4 years, the next year, I got my passport again renewed, and I was doing frequent trips to Europe for work. And I just decided, since I'm already here frequently, I'm just going to stay a little bit longer in Europe. And then, 1 week turned into 1 month, turned into 3 months. And then over time, I spent like a year in Asia, and over the last 4 years,
almost like an Indiana Jones, traveling everywhere.
So after the last 4 years, I've done close to 72 countries, and the purpose of traveling after the first initial trips for work was really focusing on trying to find a place that I would like to move and retire. So a place that I would just move and retire. So
26?
25.
25.
Yeah.
25 years old.
Yeah, so the goal was to retire
Jesus
before
Christ,
30.
man. You should be thinking about this like at the age of 50. My God, this guy has everything figured out, man. Unbelievable. So we were searching for a place. This idea of traveling abroad was looking for that right place.
Yeah.
You told me prior to this recording that you had seen 4 countries, basically. I mean, you saw many. You said 72 countries.
72, yeah.
From the 72, just to force, went to the next level.
It piqued my interest. Well, actually, so before I had started the endeavor, I had met, actually he was an international banker, so he does merging and acquisition. He did a lot of stuff for the state in America, and he was working in Russia as well. And he had lived in a bunch of different countries that I was interested in, so I just asked him, what countries he liked the most. And out of the countries that kind of aligned with the ones that I was interested in, and that was
Did
Japan.
the guy just fart?
Yeah, I think so.
Jesus.
What countries he liked the most. it was Japan.
There was a homeless passing by. He just farted.
It was very loud, and it sounded wet.
I think he cracked his pants,
I
man.
know, it sounded wet.
This part is probably black and white in the video, man, but I can't.
Hello, darkness,
Sorry.
my old friend.
Sorry, go on. You were saying something so
Oh,
funny.
it was Japan.
Where was the guy from?
He was from America, but he actually lived in Brazil for a year, and then he lived in Russia for 2 years. So he was doing merging and acquisition, which is basically buying and merging companies together. He worked for the Secretary of State in the United States, but he was stationed in both here and in Russia. So he was doing things for the country out there,
Okay.
and he had lived here for a while, and he lived into a couple other places, Argentina and things like that. So I asked him, picked his brain, what countries he liked the best, and they kind of overlapped with countries that I was genuinely interested in.
He said
anyways.
Brazil.
He said Brazil was one of them, and
Obrigado, viu? Okay, well, just arrived for us. This is
Passarinhos.
called frango a passarinho. Do you have a name for that in English?
no, I mean we really don't have it like this. The closest thing we would have to that would be chicken wings.
Yeah. But it's not really wings. You have
Yeah.
some parts of the wings, but look, you have also maybe the chest. I don't know.
So this is American chicken wings on steroids, because this is like a lot
on
more meat.
steroid. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if our
Oh, they actually were on
chicken
steroids.
had a lot of steroids.
Yeah, well, you know.
Well, like Arnold Schwarzenegger when you go see them. You know? Not saying the guy used the steroids,
But he probably was.
but.
Anyway,
And how do you say that? Like the crispy
yeah, fried oil.
Not onion, it's garlic.
Garlic, sorry, onion? Garlic, just fried, crispy.
Yeah, fried. Okay, great. So okay, get back. So he was American. He said Brazil was an option.
Brazil was one of them, and then he said Philippines, Thailand, and then he said another country in Europe, which I wasn't interested
But did he mention why he was choosing Brazil?
Well, because he lived in Argentina and Brazil for a while, and he just liked the
there because
culture.
of the people. Or go
Yeah,
there
he said the
because
people
of-
were amazing. They were very friendly.
With the hands, okay? I'm
Yeah.
the typical Paulista, so I use the cutler for everything. Forgive me, guys. Go on.
And yeah, he said the people were very accepting. You know, they're very friendly. They're very generous when it comes to you attempting to try to speak their language. They're very helpful. They're very friendly. So that was one thing. He said the food was great, and then he was talking specifically about Rio because of the beaches and the view, which I do agree. I did fall in love with Rio for that specifically, and that's where we'll start fighting against Rio and Sao Paulo. So it was either Japan, Thailand, Spain, and Brazil. So after all the countries, Brazil was one of the last countries I needed to visit to confirm. And then being stuck there from the pandemic really just opened my eyes and said, this is definitely the country I'm interested in. This is the country I'm going to invest my future into.
What called more your attention for the...
Because
You are an athlete yourself, right? You told me you were always working out. You see, he has this broad shoulders. The guy is always at the gym, pumping iron, you know? So, I think Rio is the mecca of the beauty.
Yeah, it is.
And look, take the compliment, guys. Take the compliment. Cariocas, right?
Yeah.
Take the compliment, because it's the mecca of the beauty.
Really
Everybody's
is.
always
Everybody's beautiful.
exercising, everybody's always
That's why
showing
we're
off.
prioritizing beauty and body out there.
And I don't blame foreigners, but foreigners come to Brazil to go to Rio. I don't blame the guy. Sao Paulo is basically a mega city with a lot to do, so
It's like a New York or San Francisco equivalent, if you were to be thinking about it in terms of America.
okay. And then you said when he said that to you had never come here.
No, not yet. This was 4 years ago.
Okay.
I was sitting in the couch in my living room, and I asked him. He said, "Those are the countries I liked. Go check them out." He didn't really think I was serious because we had just met a week prior, and a lot of times people just say things. But I was serious. I took his advice.
And after he said that, he came.
4 years later. Yeah. So this was one of the last countries I was visiting, and I'm happy that I got stuck here during the pandemic.
I'm gonna let him eat, okay? So grab your bites. Just listen to me in the meantime.
Oh, good.
It's good. What is this exactly?
It's sweet.
Yeah, I think it's
Like jam?
Yeah, but I think I can identify that. Let me see. gonna say, it tastes familiar, but I don't know the name. I'm gonna ask the guy later. It's a little spicy, no? Very, very little. I love chicken. Really.
It's not that bad. Fried, like moderately low calories.
So, the first time you came 4 years later was to Rio during the pandemic.
And that was 6 months ago.
That was 6 months ago.
So because I spent 6 months in the country as a foreigner, using the tourist visa, you could only do 6 months in a calendar year. So I had to wait 6 months to return. So I returned, and
I mean, terrible to say that, but perfect timing, you know? Because you came during the pandemic and you got to stay a little longer.
Yeah.
Of course.
I usually spend 1 month in every country for the most part. 2 weeks at minimum and 1 month usually.
So, do you remember when you landed in Brazil, like your first impression, like the guy was you really knew what he was saying? What was your impression?
Well, I actually was saying, I was meeting someone in Rio, and I went to a really rural part of Rio for 2 months. So I didn't get the real foreign Rio experience until month 3. So honestly, that first 2 months, I was miserable. I was absolutely miserable. I was like, I hate this country. I just want to go home. I just want to go to Argentina. I just want to go to Colombia. But that's because I was in a really rural part of Rio. Because Rio is also a state, right? Yeah. So Rio has the city, just like Sao Paulo has the city. But I was in Campo Grande. You know that? It's about an hour and a half away from the city.
So it's not really Rio.
Yeah.
So when we say Rio, we talk about the city, right?
Yeah. But then that ended and actually got into Lapa, which is kind of like downtown, sort of similar to where we're at now, where we're eating. And I liked the vibe there. You know, where I was staying was a good location. Everything was
Lapa is
close.
the place with the arts and everything.
And I'm not a very big party person, but it was fun to go. And it was interesting. One of my friends from college, he actually flew in at the same time by coincidence. So we met up and we went out. So that was really fun. And then after that month, I stayed close towards the beach. So I was about 30 seconds away from the beach for the rest of my stay.
And then you understand what people say.
Yep.
About the food.
The food. I must say, I do like the food. That's a joke that I figured out here. When people in Rio or in Brazil, they say food, they're talking about beans, rice, and then some sort of meat. And then maybe some of it.
The other ones would be just snacks, right?
Yeah, just food.
Like, I don't know if I would call this a snack, but probably not.
No.
But yeah, because we have other things to eat, right? And you were telling me that you really like the food here in Brazil. One of the reasons for you. Okay, and so right now you said that you've been here for a month already, and you are going after things to make the purchase of your apartment or house possible.
So this trip right here, this last time that I came, it was actually extremely intentional. So the whole purpose of this trip was to formalize the documents necessary for me to actually make a transition here. So to migrate or immigrate here. And then in addition to that process was actually procuring and actually initializing the process for purchasing an apartment. So,
and your choice is Sao Paulo, not Rio.
Yeah. I think it's just going to be easier from my perspective to rent out. When I did research on Airbnb and just regular rentals, this one just has a higher rent rate. So that's why it's a little bit more secure for that reason versus Rio. If I was going to do Airbnb, it's a little bit better out there, but the prices are a little bit higher as well. So it kind of cancels each other out. And here, I'd actually be making a little bit of profit still.
So your idea for being in Sao Paulo, you said, is because of business?
Yeah. So renting. So I was going to build a portfolio of apartments here. So So that's what one thing I was doing when I was starting college was we were flipping houses. So in about 2 years, we did about 18 houses. So I was taking that same experience, except instead of flipping the houses and being the person that was kind of finding the properties, I'm going to be the person with the money. And then instead of renovating, we're just using the ones that are under construction. And we're just going to rent those ones out.
Oh, very nice. So, Angel has told me that he watched that video about getting a CPF number because the thumbnail of the video says very clearly, if you want to invest in Brazil, get this document. So he went for it, he watched the video, right? Have you watched it too? If you haven't, click on this card, yeah, don't forget. And what was the process like?
So
Was it easy?
The bureaucracy was really easy. It was an easy process. The hardest component of the whole process itself was figuring out what location to actually go to. So I would go to one certain location because I would read online that it was there, and then they would tell me to go to a different location, and then I would go there, and they would say, no, we don't do that, go to this other location, and they'd say, no, try this, the first one that I went to, so I went back, and then finally I got it resolved. So it took about 1 week just of trying to find a location, and then after that, the process was really straightforward. You pay a very small fee, and you just fill out a form, and it's
Did
just
you end up
waiting
in
for
the post office?
No.
Because the video I made for the channel about the
Aceita
CPF
Federal.
is with Neil.
Neil.
Neil is the American friend I have. He was here in Sao Paulo. He went to the post office to pay the fee, and then you get a document, and then you go to Aceita. But did you pay the fee in the post office?
No. It's weird because I didn't even pay a fee this time.
Guys, the government has changed things, and they haven't said anything to me.
No, the weirdest, I mean, you're supposed to pay a fee, and I didn't know where I was supposed to pay it, but I already received my document. It was seven reais.
They just liked you.
I guess so. That's how I get to a guy and I complimented his tattoo. He's like, I like this guy.
Yeah, probably.
So,
Okay, so
the process was really
right?
simple. The hardest part was just trying to find it, and it could have been an issue of just language barrier, because even though I could understand Portuguese, I have an accent. I try ordering foods and people kind of understand me with simple things. So
He communicates really well. And okay, a second, please. I love eating. My goodness. So,
Do you guys hear this?
crispy.
Crispy.
Yeah. No, they probably heard me chewing while you were speaking. Yeah. They will probably say, "Shut up, Mark." So, anyways, you got the CPF. You're going for, you're checking for the apartment. Have you found it?
I found 4 so far that I'm actually interested in putting under contract. And the great thing about this is, obviously the realtors are very invested in trying to get you to buy an apartment. So they're actually facilitating a lot of things that's necessary as a foreigner to make the process and the transaction
So
occur.
you're receiving all the support. Yeah,
Exactly.
I told him nothing against the guys. It's their job, but of course they want the dollars. They want the
What was
money.
the phrase you said? Essa querendo morder?
Yeah, they want to grab a bite of the pie. You know? I mean, can I say that?
Yeah.
Yes. They want to grab a bite. Look, I'm not judging. It's their job. They do that for
That's
a living.
literally what they do for work, so it's not a...
But even though they are very supportive.
Yeah, and the thing is you could kind of have that initial fear, like they might be trying to take advantage of me. They know I'm a foreigner. They might think I make more than I do because of the preconceived notions about foreigners and the dollar currency strength versus the real.
They just want to do business.
But they're very honest people, and I think that's important. So obviously, I've been talking to a lot of realtors, and you're able to judge yourself as well using your own instincts.
Okay, so you said you got 4 places
Yeah.
that you liked, all in good areas.
Good areas, yeah.
Give us an idea.
So
Vila Olympia, Vila Pinheiros.
what I was saying is 40 to 45 square meters, 300 to 800,000 reais, and then
300 to
800,000. So that's the range.
300 to 800,000. 45 square meters, 800,000.
Yeah, the one I'm looking at, Pinheiros, is
Jesus
is
Christ. Yeah.
726.
For those who don't know, Pinheiros is one of the best neighborhoods in Sao Paulo.
Yeah.
Pubs like this, we are at Salve Jorge right
Every
now. Every
store.
corner you have a place like this. Amazing. This
Really
is one
good.
of the best in Sao Paulo. I'm gonna leave the link for you to access. But wow, 800,000 for 45.
726.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
That is too much.
it is a lot, but it would be a good rental, and I could sell it quickly.
Okay.
So that was the range, and then I said, as far as locations, my girlfriend just said anywhere with the yellow line,
Yeah.
the metro. So the yellow line. So that's line number 4 if you're in Sao Paulo.
Now you know. Can you explain the guys why the yellow line? I told you inside the train.
It's a more affluent line. So if you're listening to America, the word that we would say is bougie.
Bougie.
Bougie. It's like a slang
That
word
means,
for like yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
The yellow and the
upper
green
middle
are-
class and like upper class, you know.
Yes. The yellow and the green, they cross areas that are really cool.
Yeah.
People, because in Sao Paulo, the rich and the poor don't live in the same. I mean, they do, but it's not as common as in Rio. In Rio, the city is smaller, so you have all the classes. Look, I'm not judging, saying if this is good or bad. I'm just telling you the reality.
That's just how it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the way things are. So
You know, it's very segregated in Rio as well, but like he was saying, they're mixed together a lot more. So even though it's segregated, they're still, you know, within the wealthy areas.
Yep. Pretty much. So okay.
So those are the criteria that I was looking for with the realtors.
Have you chosen from the store just one?
Yeah, so 2 of them I'm really interested in. One of them is because of the price, the other one is because of the location. So one of them, it's like close to 300,000 AI, so it's really inexpensive.
Are you getting 2 or 1? I think you said that you wanted.
I'm getting
2.
1 to start.
Okay.
So it's funny because the whole point of this purchase is really just so I can open up a bank account. Because once I get a bank account, then I can actually start the process that I did in America and start building up my portfolio of apartments here.
So I have a question you're gonna help me tell my friends here. People write me every day asking, okay, once I have the CPF number, can I open a banking account in Brazil
No.
easily?
Absolutely not.
Okay, one subscriber last night, Ken, sorry if I'm telling your name wrong, he said he was able to do that in Itaú. I'm breaking the news for you.
Okay.
Because I forgot to tell you.
Yeah.
He said he was able to do that with Itaú and Bradesco, the 2 biggest banks in Brazil, without a CPF number. I mean, only with the CPF number.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to try it. We'll figure it
So
out.
you tried,
I didn't try those banks yet.
but the ones you tried, like Santander, which is Spanish, what did they tell you?
They said so I can actually show you a picture of what they need. You can tell them.
You sent me, I can put on the video, okay? Is this because of the address that you couldn't get
I got the address. So what's nice is both the realtors, like I said, the realtors are really trying to facilitate the transaction. So they said, what I'll do is I'll say that you're part of my lease, and I'll just get it notarized so that we can say that you have a valid address. But luckily, my Airbnb host, I asked her, she said because you're staying here for a month and you keep the apartment really clean, I'll do this for you as well. So really respect the places that you're staying because you never know, they could be very beneficial for you in the future as well. Let's see. So I need to have a permanent visa and the date that I arrived, or a temporary visa. But the most important thing is an RNE or an RNM, which is essentially the same thing. So an RNE, you probably could explain it better.
You said a temporary visa. Are you talking about a residence visa or
No.
a tourist visa?
Tourist.
Which you get.
Yeah, but that's assuming you already have the RNE. So
RNE
yeah,
stands for Registro Nacional de Estrangeiros, or the Foreign National Registration. It would be
the equivalent of the RG.
equivalent to my RG. I have an RG somewhere here, okay, which is my personal document. If the police stops me, for example, for a checkup, I can show the RG. So the foreigners living in Brazil will have an RNE, okay? So the guy from the bank said that he needed one of those.
Yeah. So we need one of the two. And then the other thing.
But you just get information for you guys. You just get an RNE if you live in Brazil.
Yeah. So the basis to get an RNE, I went to the main the superintendent, Luisa Federal, and they said I need to have a base. So either married to a Brazilian, a child,
Fasting.
a child, well, those are the easiest ones. Those are the easiest two.
Yeah.
You can get those the quickest, expedited.
Okay.
The next one is a student or a working visa. Those would be the two second easiest ways. So they're saying you need to have a base for a visa to get a residency. So if you have one of those four, those will be the easiest four. After that, you can do an investing visa or a real estate visa.
This is the confusion people have. Like, I want to invest in Brazil, but how can I invest in Brazil without the documents? So one thing leads to another, you understand?
Yeah. You need
what kind of
to
investment? Did they tell you, like buying an apartment is?
So the commercial investment, there's two different types of investment visas you can get. You can do a real estate visa, which is spending over 1.1 million real. So that's why I was trying to get 2 apartments. And then the other investing visa is the business commercial visa. So what I was going to do is invest into a gym and then also invest into opening a second location. So a second location for a gym and a second location for a bar. So that needs to be 150,000 reais in total. So that's a significantly lower amount, but because it's a commercial visa, you're going to be a commercial investment. You're going to be producing revenue for the state.
Okay.
You're paying taxes for the country. You're employing Brazilians. And you need to have a business plan as well. So that's why I wanted to talk with my gym owner, the gym owner that I go to, and then there's a couple bars that we like. We know the owners for those. They're trying to open up second locations. We've already have a track record showing that the probability of failing on a second location is relatively low. They have integrity, so they're not individuals that are going to be trying to steal your money essentially. And worst case scenario is you lose the money. But those are the two avenues of using an investing visa base to get a lot of money.
But do you understand you're talking about some kind of people that is not everybody that is trying to? Because for example, you're going to shell out $1 million here.
Yeah.
So it's not the type of guy that has been writing me and say, look, I want to buy a property, I want to pay installments maybe. You can't.
Yeah, you can.
You can do it.
Yeah. So if you're buying directly, so there's 2 ways to do it. If you are interested in purchasing property here, but you don't necessarily have the lunch capital necessary to make the full purchase. Okay. And for me specifically, I wanted to use my bank in America to give me a loan, but they don't lend outside of the country, or at least not with me yet. And then because I'm not a resident, I don't have a bank here, so I can't use a loan here. So that left me with 2 options. It's fine. What I used to do in America is going directly with the owner, so financing directly with the owner, which is a little bit riskier, in my opinion, because unless you're familiar with the documents that are necessary, there's a higher probability that they can rob your money or not transfer over the title or deed in your name.
This is a little more complicated.
So that one's a lot more complicated. And that's why I would advise going against it unless you have an amazing attorney and you're familiar with the infrastructure and the documents necessary.
Yeah, you need to check property.
Exactly.
Ownership.
Because even if one person is trying to sell it, but let's say they inherited it from a family member that died, and there's a brother or a sister that is also on the lease, if they don't want to sell it, you can still make the payments and the title still won't go in your name. So you really have to be careful and cautious when you're doing that route. Now the second and the safest route and the easiest route is going directly with the construction company. So there's a lot, especially in Sao Paulo, more than Rio, what I've noticed.
So this is exactly what John, I made a video and I sent you the link last night.
Oh, I didn't see that.
No problem. John from Washington bought a place in Rio, a penthouse, in the blueprint, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not done yet.
Yeah.
And then they established installments, like you need to make a down payment, and every 60 days or so you gotta pay something more.
I have something for that too.
But you know what happened?
To you. I know, the 45-day delay.
You have seen it.
No, what happened?
What happened to John was,
He's talking about the 45-day delay on the transfer of funds, right?
yeah, but his money got frozen.
That's why I was wanting to do that with the bank here. And the reason why is just anti-money laundering. If you're familiar with that in America, the country itself is just trying to make sure that bad entities or bad actors aren't trying to put illicit money.
I don't think
into
the guys are wrong, man. Not because I'm a Brazilian. I don't think the guys are wrong. The guys are just checking, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Because many bad things have happened already. So
basically, it's like something like this. You can explain it. So that's Oh, I could just say it's like 40. So
You're
usually,
gonna send me. I'm gonna put this
Yeah.
on the screen here. Let me keep showing you. No problem.
so that's like 40%.
Actual down payment.
Yeah. And then
Okay.
28 times, so during the duration of the construction,
Yes.
I'm only doing 500.
And then when you're gonna get the key,
Yeah, so then this is the remainder that needs to be financed once the construction is complete. So I have to either finance that with my bank, a bank here, or have saved up the money to pay the down payment
so
in cash.
this is the route you're gonna get.
Yeah,
It's the easiest one.
the easiest one.
Okay,
It's
right.
the easiest
So
and the safest one.
I have more questions to you. Maybe you can help me out as
Okay.
well. I'm thinking about John when I ask this question. Okay, so you're gonna sign a contract with the guys.
Uh-huh.
They're gonna request a CPF you already got. They're gonna request an address.
So we already talked to the manager.
Construction is not gonna request an address.
No. So what's cool about this one is the construction company really has zero risk because you're not actually buying the place. There's nothing for you to buy and live in. So all they're getting is money, and if you don't pay the money, well, you just don't get a place. So it's very low risk for them. So it's nice because it's really like a good, safe third-party intermediary for both me as a consumer and for them as the person that's selling it to me. So it's a safe intermediary. If I don't make the payments, they don't get the money. And the thing is if I can't make the financing for it, which is really convenient because let's say I can't make the financing for the remaining bill, which is around 400,000 reais, because I can't open up a bank here, I can't get a loan, or I didn't save enough money for whatever reason. What they can do is they can resell the property when it's complete. So in 28 months, when the project is complete, and if I don't have the funds, they'll just list the property for sale. Whenever they do sell it, maybe 30 days or more. Or
And
less.
sorry, and him, right?
No, so they'll give me my money back. They'll give me the profit. So if I bought it at 800,000 real and they're selling it at 1.2, I'll get the profit as well. So they're getting their money, I get my money back, and I get the profit back. So it's called flipping. Flippagem.
Portuguese, man.
The guy said it to me.
Very Portuguese, but I can check and put down in the video. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So okay, they accept you to not to have an address for you
Yeah.
to
So
sign.
they
the
said just a
contract.
passport and my CPF.
So the contract is signed
Yeah.
under your name.
Yep.
Right. How are you gonna make the payments?
To my bank.
From the United States to Brazil.
Yeah. So I just have to sign a specific
Why?
paper with
Why
my
is
bank.
it? What are you gonna use?
Wire. So I just have to sign a specific form that they're gonna give me, and I'll just show it to my bank, and then I have to get that notarized and sent to them, so that they know that I'm not acting fraudulently on someone else's account.
So you're going to take a precaution before you do anything.
No,
Because I
that's
think
what from there.
I think
That's
with
what
John,
that's
John only had the thing notarized in the United States after the money was frozen.
So yeah, so this is from both ends. So this is
So you're not afraid of getting the money frozen through wire.
No, not at all. Because it's gonna take 28 months anyways, 32 months around there. So it doesn't matter. I'm not in a big rush. But what they're doing is they're protecting their end. So they're just making sure that I'm not acting as a bad actor, fraudulently using someone else's bank account to make a wire, and that the money is coming from me. So if it is illegal money, it's gonna come back to me. There is going to be a process of about 10 business days where the funds will be frozen, and that's just to make sure that the money is actually coming from a place that is valid. And then from my end, I just need to go to America and just say that, yes, I'm going to be doing this transaction, I'm making a purchase, so just don't block it on my end. So I'm making sure that my bank in America doesn't block it on my end, and I'm making sure from the Brazilian end, they understand that the money is coming from me first. 10 days to just review the funds, they should be okay. Yeah.
So this shouldn't be the ideal, right? Only buy from a constructor.
I think so.
Maybe you see a property and you like it.
Yeah.
So the problem is what happens to these guys when that property that belongs to an owner, I think it gets a little more complicated.
It does. And even trying to validate a reliable realtor is challenging too. Because I've seen some pretty bad horror stories in Rio where the realtor was acting as a bad actor. Or they were.
Don't trust anybody. There are so many good people in this country, so don't trust. And guys,
Don't trust just anybody. Just do your due diligence. That's the best way to go about it.
I think so.
Ask. The best way to go about it is
Don't
ask.
go by assumptions. It's really important too.
The best way to go about it is ask about their track record, essentially. If they have happy clients, you know they've done something good in the past.
Yeah. So I'm always offering a lawyer
His best
to the
friend.
channel because he's my best friend. Because it's a guy I trust with my eyes closed. You know what I mean? Have you thought about a lawyer? I'm not selling mine here. I'm just asking if you have someone to secure
My
the whole
friend
process.
that I'm picking up tomorrow or today at 2. She's an attorney. Yeah.
It's important, isn't it?
It really is.
Because the person knows the language, the coach.
The language is the most important thing because even if I'm able to understand at a high level, there's certain words that are important that get lost in translation. So it's really important.
So I wanted to share Angel's story with you guys because he's right in the middle of this process. So I think
I just got my CPF about 4 days ago, so that was nice, and I'm in the process of about putting in my down payment essentially, the ATO. That what it is? ATO? ATO? Is that what's the down payment? That thing that I should
Because when you say ato is right now, it means right now in Portuguese. Uma no ato e a outra para 30 dias. So one right now and the other for 30 days.
So if you are planning on going this route, the thing is with this construction companies, they're extremely flexible. So if you want to do it a certain way, they will probably structure the way for you. Even with this company I was talking about, if I were to put a bigger down payment, they would actually do the financing for me during the construction as well. So I wouldn't need to get a bank or anything like that.
Fantastic.
So yeah, they're really flexible. I think that's the best way to go about it. It's the safest way, and you have a lot of options to go through.
But you still need the bank, no?
No. And that's a great thing. I'm using this as a vehicle to actually get a bank. So this is going to be my vehicle to get into
It's a
America.
guarantee the banks will have from you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent.
Just collateral from the bank's perspective, you know?
Do you have any other thing to say to the subscribers, to the viewers? Like anything you have learned from the whole thing that
You have to really embody patience with this whole process. I mean, you're gonna get lost probably unless you have someone walking you through. Even then, I had my girlfriend. She's a medical doctor. I was assuming she would have been able to help me, but because she's not familiar with how to get documents for a foreigner because she lives here, it's still gonna be challenging.
Not many people do know.
Yeah.
And even like my case, I try to help, but sometimes they change the laws, man.
Yeah.
Like he was telling me that compared to he's not invalidating my video about CPF, but he didn't pay the fee.
I didn't pay the fee.
But Neo did. You saw Neo giving an interview inside my house. He paid the fee. So
I'm supposed to. I just don't know how I got it without it.
That's really weird. So sometimes things change here. So, but thank you so much for talking to us. The video got a little longer, but very important. Everything he has said. I appreciate your presence here. I hope you come back more now that in the future, in the very near future, is going to be living in Sao Paulo. It's going to be my neighbor, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking your time.
I'm excited to do more videos as well.
Wonderful. Thank you, buddy. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. To click on the like button to help the channel. If you want to share this video with more people.
And comment too for the YouTube algorithm.
Oh yeah, I have to say that all the time. Guys, commenting is important. Giving us a thumbs up is important. Subscribing to the channel. If you want to see more videos, check it out. I have made plenty. And some of them might be interesting for you. Thank you so much.
They're very beneficial for me. Just to let you know, when I was looking through the process...
He's not being paid.
Yeah, just I'm not paid. You going to give me the money afterwards?
Okay, let me count here. How much do I owe you? Sorry, go on.
So 4 months ago, I was looking at seriously moving it here. So I was looking through different ways to actually buy a property. And his was one of the videos that popped up as far as getting a property in Brazil as a foreigner. So, I mean, it's really beneficial. I mean, I'm glad that we're able to facilitate the relationship. It was a further meet in person. And, even though he's saying that, like, the nuances of the process has changed, the overall steps were pretty much consistent.
Yeah, the structure is the same, right? So, guys, and look, we have just... I said something wrong in my last video. I said that the channel is up to 4 years. No, we just completed 3 years. on September 6th. So this month is the month of anniversary. I lost the count. I thought this was going to be the video 100, so I said Angel is going to help me out with this, but he's 101. My 100th video was the last one, but it was special anyways.
Getting real estate 101 as a foreman.
Yeah.
101.
Wow, very good. Thank you very much for this. Okay, guys, it's my pleasure to be here making content to help you out with everything you need about Brazil. So if you can help me by doing all the things I have said, clicking, subscribing, spreading the word, I'm gonna be really glad. See you next time with more content.
See you.
Straight from Sao Paulo downtown, Salve Jorge, close to Banespa building, something that building. Bye. See you next time.